Becky Meagher, and welcome to Transitions. We have a wonderful guest today, Madeleine Atchley, and what we're talking about in a transition is how do you transition from one part of your life to another part of your life to another part of your life. We've had yoga teacher that was 80, and she explained how she transitioned from being a housewife to a businesswoman to being an amazing yoga teacher. We've had triathletes that you transition from swimming to biking to running, and these are all metaphors for what happens in your life. So today we have an amazing young lady. She will be 24 at the end of the month, and I think it was very important to get somebody's story on how they are about to change their lives and where they came from. Everybody that had met Madeleine had said that they felt that she could be the next president of the United States. And being almost 23?
Almost 23.
Almost 23, I thought that, my heavens, it was very important to document this amazing young lady and see in her early part of her life how are things going to be going and what is going to be next. And it's, to me, it's such an amazing thing. They said when we first met her, she knew what our drinks were, our names, everything, and it was all taken care of. And with those kind of skills, they can be transferred into politics and into an amazing array of different jobs. So how about telling everybody what is your next transition, where are you going, and what are you going to be doing?
Well, the next transition is, as I said before, I had decided that I was going to kind of skip over the step of school and just go right into the internship phase.
Forget the degree thing, forget about it, I just want the experience and be out there.
Right.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate and got a good recommendation from a friend at that I had met through the bar that I'm working at or was working at, to go up to DC and interview with this Libertarian think tank, IHS.
So Madeleine, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Can you tell us where you were raised and tell us a little bit about your amazing family and what brought you to Nashville?
I was born in Pomona, and then when I was about 6, my family moved to a place called Gavilan Hills in California. Everybody was on a minimum of 2.5 acres and just big open land, which is rare in California. So but it was perfect for my family. I'm one of 13 kids.
13 children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we were pretty much, for the most part, raised there until I was 17, but yeah.
All right, so you were raised there, and then why did your family move to Nashville?
My dad was in real estate and doing a lot of real estate investing and that kind of thing, and saw the market getting shaky and unstable, and my parents both had kind of always wanted to get out of California. So being that they had 13 kids and were a very close-knit family, they wanted to move somewhere where the economy was a little bit more stable, and that all of us could potentially afford and own our own homes instead of being in the forever renters market that was California. So they chose Nashville because it had a good economy and decent weather and good people, and we came out here.
And they chose Nashville, and they were thinking forward by thinking, wow, what about when our children want to buy a home, and in California that may be so difficult, and in Nashville area they can afford something.
We could afford something, the economy was good, so they knew we would be able to get jobs, and my dad had come out several times on his own, and then my mom started coming out with him, looking around, and they really liked the people. And in California, people don't necessarily talk to you when you go into the supermarket. They just kind of scan your groceries and send you on your way, and you might get a smile. Huh. But out here, everybody's really friendly and asks you how your day is, and it's very different, a little bit of a culture shock, but they liked it, so.
But it was a good thing.
Yeah.
And then where in Middle Tennessee did they move the whole family to?
They moved everybody to Franklin. We moved in 2006 and ended up in the McKay's Mill area. We went for the first year kind of from rental to rental while they looked around. It's not very easy to accommodate 13 kids, so.
Wow, imagine. How big a house did they end up getting?
It's like 4,600 square feet or something like. It's a bigger
big
house. They
Yes.
actually did just move out from there though, because all of the kids are moving and they wanted to downsize. My mom didn't want to clean that house anymore. Keep up with it.
So right now, the ages of your siblings are from what to what?
Joe will be 25 in June, and then Random, the baby, will be 8 in October. So.
The baby
No, 7 in October.
will
I'm sorry.
be 7.
Yeah,
Okay, and he's the youngest.
the youngest.
And his name is?
Random.
That's a great name.
It really is, especially if you've met the boy.
Wow, that's great. Wow. So you went to high school in Franklin then?
No, I graduated before I came out here. I was actually homeschooled, and
Wow.
when I did the CHESP out in California, which is the California High School Proficiency Exam, and then when I came out here, I tested right away and did the GED as well, because the CHESP I don't think it transferred, or there was some problem with colleges accepting it. So.
And did your mom homeschool all the 13 kids?
She homeschooled us while we were in California, except for the 2 boys, the 2 oldest boys who were in high school, and they went to a private high school that they liked, because they were homeschooling more for lack of options than because of any particular philosophy. They were very picky about our education. But then when we came out here, they put all of the kids into private schools. So.
Okay. But you were homeschooled, and that was in California. But then you felt that even though you got a homeschool degree, I guess, in California, when you came here, well, we'll get a GED just to make sure that.
Cover all the bases. It just made the transition into college a little bit more smooth. Because people were looking at it and they're like, what is this? California says you're high school proficient. That's great, but you are in Tennessee.
So was GED pretty easy?
Yeah, it was very simple. I took a couple of classes just to make sure that I think they make you take them just to make sure you're going to be able to pass the test, that you're not just trying to cut out, that you actually know this stuff. And I think there were like 2, maybe 3 of those, and then I took the test. It's pretty straightforward.
And you figured also when you moved here that you'd want to go to college?
Yeah, well, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. I had always kind of been interested in politics and religion and really anything that you can debate about.
Debate about. So you like to debate?
I love to debate.
Wow.
But I wasn't sure what degree path I wanted to go down, so I started just doing some general education at Columbia State, and then transferred over to Thomas Aquinas in Nashville.
Thomas Aquinas, that's a predominantly a Catholic university?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that women only?
No, it's it's mostly women, but it's a nursing school. It's one of the best ones in the state, I believe. But both of my brothers were there for business, my 2 older brothers, for business degrees. So I still wasn't exactly sure which path I wanted to go down for degrees, but both my brothers being there, I figured, well, Columbia State's not really working out for me. I'll just go where they are and see what happens.
And so how did you like it there?
I liked it. Everybody was really super nice. There were a few great teachers. There were a few that I didn't necessarily agree with, but being that the degree I wanted, I decided I was going to go for political science, and they didn't offer that degree, but I still had some general ed to do. Being that the liberal arts degrees, the ones that are more knowledge-based instead of actually teaching you a skill, like if you were to become a doctor or that kind of thing, the only thing that you can really obtain is knowledge. Very few people can teach you how to understand or how to apply the knowledge. I decided that I didn't want to pay anymore to major in somebody else's opinion, because that seemed more like what I was getting, and any knowledge that I could have gotten is so readily available on the internet that I just went back to my old roots of studying on my own. And
so you felt self-study was a better thing to do.
Right, because I got to pick and choose what I wanted to learn, and I could cross-reference and look into opposing arguments and things, whereas in school I was getting the teacher's subjective kind of leaning, and whether I agreed with it or not, I didn't feel it was a good financial investment.
Okay, so you'd be putting out money for school and you felt that you weren't even learning that much, so it's like, hey, I can go on the internet and learn more and I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what?
Kind of, and I decided that I could spend the time and the money in school, or I could go start interning with people and studying on my own and get real experience in the field that I was interested in. So I decided to pursue that route instead.
Now, you were raised with political leanings libertarian, am I correct?
Libertarian and conservative. The family philosophy has always been really laid back and very libertarian, kind of unspoken to a degree. And then being Catholic, that was heavily conservative influence, conservatively influenced. So nobody in the family really, it was always kind of an issue by issue thing that we would take a stand on. And then just recently, within the past 4 or 5 years, I would guess, it became more of a philosophical thing and more principled, as opposed to just taking it as an issue on an issue by issue basis.
So name me some of the principles that are guiding you in your political self-studies. There's two main ones, and they're really two sides of the same coin. One is that you do not initiate force upon another person. You just, everybody can go do, obviously I don't agree with communism, but if you wanted to be a communist, by all means, please go ahead, but don't tell me that I have to, or initiate force upon me by, be it to arrest me or put a gun up and say, if you don't contribute the X amount of dollars, and then, I'm going to force you to. So don't initiate force. And then the other side of that is respect for property rights, which is just to say that, you're not going to infringe on those property rights, which is kind of initiating force again. So it's kind of two sides of the same coin, but. Okay, property rights and are these libertarian views? I really don't know that much about the Libertarian Party, other than, isn't Ron Paul the head of it? Or?
He's not so much a head, he's a very big figure in it. The actual Libertarian candidate for this election cycle will be Gary Johnson, but Ron Paul has done more for the Libertarian Party than anybody in its history, arguably. And he was actually a big part of the shaping of our philosophy and coming more to that side of things. But those are pretty libertarian principles. They're again, a lot of people tend to go more on an issue-by-issue basis instead of getting down into the principles, which makes it a little bit more difficult to be a true libertarian, because you're just kind of looking to leaders, which is not a very libertarian thing. It's kind of on the individual. So you want to develop your own principles. You want to develop your own self-sufficiency and carry on from there, making your own decisions and being responsible for them.
So is it kind of like you don't want big government telling you what to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Or anybody else for that matter, just taking responsibility for yourself.